So guys, as of now, we have seen that complete details about that how we can read that file here. But now in this scenario, we will see how we can write the file as well. So we have already discussed, right, some of that reader writer classes earlier, correct? We can also just take a one more time that look into it. So we have that all these output stream classes or writer classes basically used for writing purpose. So output file output stream, or if you wanted to just write something into a file output stream, if you wanted to just write something onto what we can, and somewhere it's a basically a base abstract class here. So if you wanted to deal with the console, you can use that output stream dot println and you can do it, correct? So in the same way, this writer classes, simple file writer or buffer writer, right? These classes can be used it basically for a writing purpose. So you need to understand that we already discussed that byte stream and the character stream. Correct, character streams are completely working into a character. Byte stream is basically working into a byte side. So byte by byte. Now, just go to again to our. So here we have written some of the basic code here. So as I told you, file writer, you can use it and you can first you need to create a file in which file you wanted to write it. Correct. So this is the file I have just created here. Or if you wanted to give some other name, you can just give some other name here. Right here, you can say report and then maybe any such name 19th May. Correct. So this is the file object. First, you need to create it every time. And always you need to keep in mind IO exceptions is the, you can say the base class of all other exceptions, file not found or all other different type of exceptions are there. So if you are throwing this one, you are taking care of all other exceptions as well. Okay. So you can pass this file name here, right, into a new file writer. So you can create an object is like that, and you can say fr.write. So whatever content you are passing it here, this would be, you can just okay. Or if you wanted to write something particularly a one by one, you can also create, this is a one string and you can create the loop like that. Okay. So loop like this means you can write that, let's say if you wanted to print something, you have a one string here, right? Let's say five. So you can create that till the length. So every time we will read it, right? And then we will write character by character. Okay. This is for test. Right? So every time we will iterate a loop and every time we will process one character like that, writing successful. We can say after that we are writing a file writer.close. Right? Then you can also use file writing dot write using a file number is str. That is also basically you can just use it. Right? So this is another method we have written using that NIU classes. Okay. So in that say file dot write. So you can say file dot write directly, you can pass the path. Okay. Write bytes to a file. Okay. So in that path dot get, you can pass the path and then you can say data dot get bytes. So whatever string you are passing in, that is directly you will write it into this file here. So this is something they have added into, I guess, JDK 1.8. So this way also you can use it, right? Paths.get means this is nothing but the path where you wanted to write a file. So let's say if I wanted to just say with 19th May NIO, correct? Using the NIO, you wanted to write some this data into a parts.lat, correct? Like that. Then as just we have seen that file out input stream, here you can also write the file output stream, and you can write that data.get bytes and data.length like this. So you can also pass this data or maybe write it using the file output stream. So you what are we are doing it here, we are creating just like file input stream we are creating, here we are creating file output stream object and pass the this is into a file output stream here, right? This file output stream you can also use with the print writer as well. So if you are using a print writer, PR is equal to new and you can pass that FOS. That is we have seen, right? This way you can also do it. Then you can say PR dot, right? Append. Right. Correct, like this. So this data will be written into a PR dot write. So you can use a print writer. What is a print writer? Print writer, this points formatted representation of object to a text output stream, right? As we discussed that these are the characters classes, right? So this way you can just also use that. Right? So rather than to raw bytes, we will just basically using a particularly writer classes for writing the characters. So here you will see this print writer. Now you can also use a buffered writer here. So buffered writer, you can use the with the file writer also, print writer also, right? So you can rather than to creating a line by line, right? I guess it will be much more better way. So there is also here we have seen multiple ways. So these are the NIO. We have seen that file.write and you can say part.get and then you can just process and write it. Writing this data by data into a particular file here. Then you can see this is a file input stream. Also we have file output stream. We have seen it for writing the data. Then you can also use that file reader. Basically file read it and then read and then also write it into somewhere like that. So in this particularly method, we are reading also and we are writing also. Okay. So you can read some data in from one file and write some that data into other file. That is also you can write it. But you need to understand how which classes are reading it and which classes are writing it. Correct. Now, so this is a one thing. So first let me execute it. As of now, simply you can just understand it that how you can write it, right? So buffered reader, sorry, writer, you can use it, pass that new file writer here, and you can write number of lines you can write it. Line by line, we have also used that for directly for print writer, you can use it, right? So if I will just execute this code, as of now, we have just call this NIO1, correct? Like this. You can also call this method if you wanted to call, but I'm just giving some heads up to you how to write it, right? So here you can just comment out this one. Then you can see, you can use the print writer and write. And so file writing, this is the basically our class. dot. So this one write using the pass this str, nothing but your string. Correct. So two ways we will try it. One is this NION and this one. And you can run Java. Correct. So writing successful. This is we have got. So this code will also getting executed here. So this particularly reports with the stream. Correct. Then we also have this file will be getting generated here with some data. So let's go and see. You see reports 19th May and 19th May NIO. If I will open with the right, this is the data we have printed into a this file here. Also, you will see other file. Right here, correct. So this file you can also see it. Correct. So whatever data are the string you are passing it, that will be printed into this file here. Now you need to understand that how you wanted to append the file here on. Correct. So this new file will have a, we have already seen it, correct? Do you want it to append a file or true or false? Correct. So this parameter we have seen it if you wanted to append that particularly file or not. So Boolean append. Correct. So this way you can also try and test it for appending a file here. There are many other ways also if you are using a what we can say NIO classes. So in that way also you can tune it and you can do it. So if you wanted to append the file in the same file or you wanted to create a new file here. So this way we can also write the file also, right? This is the entire session for writing it.